A come-from-behind victory for Manchester City. 3 big points, Ali. Did they deserve it?
I think on the balance of the game, they did. You just have to look at that first half and the first 20 minutes. Impressive by Chelsea. Their willingness to go and press Manchester City, making it difficult for them. Manchester City has some difficulties playing out of the back. There were some turnovers in bad areas. From there, Chelsea was able to create some opportunities. And then they get the first goal, and you're thinking, well then. And actually, that first goal, it kind of displays some of the issues for Manchester City and the frailties that they have defensively. This is N'Golo Kante, who's making a 40-yard run from the middle of midfield, going across Mendy. Mendy sees him, but he's unable to get there on time. Ederson comes out, a little bit of a scuff shot, but it goes in 1-0. And you're thinking, uh-oh. And even the stadium was thinking, uh-oh, because there were groans, and Mahrez is turning the ball over, and Mendy can't trap a ball. But just in the moment where you thought Chelsea was actually having a longer period of possession, was actually controlling the game, out of a turnover from Jorginho, then you have a reaction from City. They get fortunate with the deflection on the De Bruyne goal, and from then on, Manchester City did just enough. They weren't great. They were not great. They were not consistent enough. Too many turnovers in bad areas, too many turnovers in the final third as well. The final decision wasn't quite what it needed to be, but in the end, it's a big 3 points, and 3 points that they needed to have in order to somehow keep some sort of awareness that maybe Liverpool could be reachable at some point. I don't think that that's the case, but they have to win out. They have to be perfect from here on out, and this was a step forward.
They got their goals at good times, City, didn't they?
Well, they did, and as I said, the stadium was starting to groan and moan, and you could sense that there was some nervous energy coming from the Manchester City players because they were down 1-0, and it wasn't quite happening for them. And so I think Chelsea helped them out with some of the mistakes that they made. Manchester City was able to take advantage of those opportunities, and it was good that they were able to get that reaction right away. That Chelsea scored the goal, and then Manchester City turned it around right away, and then they kind of settled down. But even in settling down, it was still not a clean performance for Manchester City.
City have got players that are going to score goals. Their defence is holding them back, isn't it?
Yeah, well, there is no defense, and that's
no case for the defense.
No. There is no case for the defense. Certainly, there isn't, and look, Fernandinho's doing a job, but it's not what he does best. And Stones is whatever.
Mendy was poor as well.
Well, I just mentioned that Mendy couldn't even trap a ball, and then could not recognize moments in which he needed to tuck inside. And so, and it's not just the back line. I would also say that in the first half, Manchester City's pressure was not quite there, where they seemed to be a step behind everything that Chelsea was doing. It was Chelsea's turnover in bad areas that allowed Manchester City to kind of get on the front foot. But I have to say, if you're Manchester City and Pep Guardiola, you're encouraged by the 3 points, but discouraged from the performance because you thought that there would be some sort of reaction like, okay, look, man, the only way that we're going to catch Liverpool is we have to be consistent. We have to be solid. We have to win our games. We have to be perfect. And today, they're everything but.
So City got all 3 points. Let's end with a word about Chelsea, because there was enough positives in there to give Lampard hope going forward.
Yes, but then you see why is it that you're not quite where you need to be. So you take the first 20 minutes just like you take the first 20 minutes as you did against Manchester United, the first game of the season back in the day. And there's a lot of good things about Chelsea, and there's a good attacking play. But there were moments in which they're up 1-0, and maybe those are the times in which you have to be very practical about the way you play. It can't just be pretty all the time because you're inviting Manchester City. And when you make those mistakes and Manchester City takes advantage of those things, then don't turn right back around and say, well, how did this happen? Well, it happened because you allowed it to happen. Because prior to that Kevin De Bruyne goal, it was a 2-minute sequence of just possession from Chelsea in the attacking half. The moment they started going sideways and backwards, they turned the ball over, and from then on, Manchester City took off.
City win it 2-1, and for those of us who had Raheem Sterling as our fantasy captains, thanks, VAR.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN+.